GSL. My conscience is telling me I'm warrior.
What up, guys? Welcome back to the GSL Code S. We are going to be going already onto our second match of the day, which should, by all measure, be a much closer series.
Well, you can't get much uncloser than the series we just saw.
Yeah, that was the opposite of closeness. One was 100 and the other was a 0.
Yeah, it was like the separate sides
And I
of
mean,
the universe.
you know, the distance between 1 and 0 can be infinite, guys. So, I mean, it's...
You can't even use a wormhole to make that last game close.
Yeah, that was it.
And a wormhole could bring you from one end of our universe to the other, theoretically. So, think about that. Look, you can fold time and space, but you can't fold Yul versus Sleep in Group F. Okay,
this is where we do that scene that's been done. We do that scene that's been done in at least 5 different science fiction movies. I'm like, but how could you fold time and space? And they're like, we get the strip of paper. We're like, okay, here we are. But now I fold the paper and I punch my pen through it. And I'm like, thank you, Event Horizon / Interstellar / every other movie I've seen.
Actually, the funniest thing ever, there was this movie called Upside Down. I don't suggest you go see it, but like, it's the funniest thing because it's like 2 planets with opposite gravity that like are like touching in one area just about.
Yeah.
And like rich people live on one and poor people live on the other, basically. And like,
oh really?
It's just it
doesn't sound that bad.
It's really it was interesting. I enjoyed watching it at the time, but like the way they explained it, fantasy. Will he make the round of 16?
Those are our boys.
Yep.
They came from the streets of Brood War.
But so anyways, in this Upside Down movie, like when they were trying to explain how reverse gravity works, they were like, they start to explain it, and then they didn't say exactly this, but they said to the effect of, just trust us, this works, like the science is there. We're not going to explain it all the way. Because it was just, the concept was just too far out. Like,
I'm trying to think of the best time travel movie that I've seen. Race. I guess Interstellar was. You saw that, right?
Yeah, it was great.
That was fantastic. That's one of the best films I've seen. And I guess Looper was good as well. Not as good as Interstellar, but
yeah, Looper was good though.
Definitely had its good moments.
Did you ever see like, I think it was called Time Machine, where the guy ends up going so far in the future that it's like primitive society again, but he finds like the last working computer from what would be the future of our time.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
It was interesting. It wasn't that good, but it was interesting at least. Well, it's like we're in a time machine now. It's fantasy playing.
Wow. Deer against fantasy. Deer at GSL Code S champion, not fantasy. A GSL Code S champion.
Fantasy. A Brood War champion.
A Brood War champ.
Champion in my heart.
Oh, you know, it used to be the only guys from Brood War still around, where these 2 guys right here casted it. But not anymore. Not just Taste or Tosis, the dinosaurs from Brood War. And by the way, if we were dinosaurs, I would be the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and Artosis would be a Brontosaurus.
That's not true at all.
You would be a Brontosaurus.
I have counterpoints when we get back.
You're like, I'm a Velociraptor. I'm like, you are not a Velociraptor. We'll discuss this further in a second.
HOT6.
In the bottom right, in the red, he is
삼성 갤럭시 디어.
in the upper left, in the blue.
데르픽세스 판타지.
So for sure, if I'm a dinosaur, I'm a Tyrannosaurus
You're
Rex.
not a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You are so far from that. That is like not.
You'd be the
even...
Dilophosaurus. You'd be that thing that spits the poison in that guy's eyes in Jurassic Park.
That's a pretty.
You think you're safe, and then you're like,
yeah, that's pretty good. I would actually put you down as a Stegosaurus because like you kind of think you're like punk rock and like that's kind of like a mohawk, but actually it's just these crappy plates that like
bones come
only
out of my
a really
back.
Dumb dinosaur couldn't eat you because he's only trying to eat you from the top. But that's basically you, right?
Oh, okay, my bad.
I would put myself more down as an Ankylosaurus. He's just like covered with some armor and has like a club on his tail. And he's like kind of just like
he turtles a lot.
Yeah,
he loves
he's
smack.
like kind of like
the Ankylosaurus loves
giant
smack,
turtle
guys.
monster. Like, he definitely would. He definitely would. Isn't prepared for Banshees, but loves Mac.
Well, let's see how this game goes here. Wait a minute.
What?
Where's that SCV going? At the upper right. What's he doing? Careful, that's 3 different colored danger signs there.
Oh my gosh, that's really extra dangerous.
Yeah. Is he okay, he's checking for...
It's like, danger, you say? Let me build a command center here.
Okay, he's just checking to see if there's a proxied Stargate anywhere.
I mean, he's
Oh, no, he's
going to
factory. No, yeah, I'm wrong, you're right. He's going to go for factory for sure.
I mean, if he catches the proxy on the way, that's useful as well, for sure. But this is going to be a very quick drop that comes up.
Yes, it is. This is just like the fantasy we used to see in Brood War. Guy always had really specific builds engineered. He was actually, fantasy was mentored by Slayer's Boxer and
I love Oof.
And I love Oof, thank you, in Brood War, but this was the guy that really had Terran builds like so hammered out, especially TVZ in Brood War. It was really impressive.
He's a very strategic player. He was never the best at macro, and in fact, he was never the best at micro. It was really, he was known as like the terrorist Terran because he would terrorize your SCV line or your probe line or your drone line.
Yeah, he'd wear you down,
for sure. Lots of harassment, lots of really great tactical engagements. You know, good strategies coming out of him and stuff like that. Just a very different type of Terran than most of the top Terrans, and really one of the best ever too. Like at the end of when Brood War, at the peak of Brood War, he was one of the top 6 players in the world. He was 5th or 6th, depending on who you ask.
Now, due to the late scout here by Deer, there's a lot of ambiguity about what exactly Fantasy's doing, which puts Fantasy in great shape because I don't believe Deer is expecting this at all.
Yeah, Deer like is probably in some trouble here. That drop is just going to come so fast, and he doesn't have any true intel yet. He hasn't actually scouted what Fantasy's doing. So he's doing kind of like a catch-all build, sure, but when this medevac gets here, like quite a few seconds before he thinks it ever could, that's going to be a problem.
Well, we're just waiting for that medevac to pop out. The second Widow Mine is... or no, excuse me, he's making a Hellion. Sorry. The Hellion is about to pop out.
Yeah, he's definitely going to chase down any probes that are running from that Widow Mine, so let's see what he can get done with this drop. If Deer reacts like really fast and perfectly, then he can do very fantastically. Here we go, and that's actually really quickly done. Wow, this is actually a great defense so far. And wow, that's...
is that medevac? Yeah, the medevac's going to die.
And guess what? Now this is trapped back there. That was, like... Deer reacted super, super fast there to get that off immediately.
Yeah.
Only losing 4 probes that is a huge victory for Deer.
Yeah, in fact, Fantasy lost more than what he killed for Deer, so... That strategy is a failure. Now, whenever you see a strategy like this being used, yes, sure, the drop gets their factor, but you also have to remember what you're giving up, which is the proper location of your factory and starport, which means you're not making from the factory and starport as it has to relocate. So, Fantasy's response to this is to double expand. He's going to take not just his natural expansion, but this one in the top center, too. Now, you might be looking at this and saying, isn't that risky? Yes, it's very risky, but that's all that he can really do at this point in time. You can't try to stay the same pace as your opponent when you're already behind in the race.
Yeah. It's he's got to take some sort of risk here to actually catch up. It's kind of like if you double proxy racks against Zerg, you're going to follow that up if they're not dead with double command center to try to catch up in that regard. And we see that same type of move being used here, and against what Deer did, which is a very fast observer.
Ooh, good spot there.
Deer, he's not going to instantly walk across the map and kill you, but with 3 gateways and the fact that he has blink,
he's also getting a warp prism, which tells us he should be moving out pretty quickly here.
Yeah, like he definitely has potential to get over there and get in Fantasy's face coming up. In fact, adding a bunch of gates.
You know, one thing to note about the warp prism, I don't think we've ever talked about this in the cast, but it's something that might be helpful for the viewers, is that you never get a warp prism and sit on it. Yeah. You actually, if you're going to get a warp prism, that should immediately be going somewhere and doing something. And that's why we know that he's going to be attacking shortly here, is you don't just make that and keep it in your base for, the next 5 minutes.
Warp prisms are not homebodies.
No, they're not.
You don't actually just turn it into pylon mode. You know, it's...
I'm an active unit.
Oh, wow, look at this. He could get a force field off on the ramp. That's pretty sick. Has a sentry in there.
I think this game's going to end, dude.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. Like, Fantasy's drop was really not effective at all. And, double expanding behind that. He has to take some sort of risk.
Remember that starport. He did get an early starport, but he had to relocate it, so he doesn't have He doesn't have any medevacs, right? Or does he? Can you check, actually?
He does not have any medevacs.
Yeah, no medevacs, so taking this out would be very good.
Yes, indeed. 6 more Stalkers. Yeah, this just has to be game. Just has to be.
This is going to be Shrek City, baby. Check this out.
Oh, man.
And I'm in your base.
And there goes Stem. That
And
alone
goodbye.
is like a game
And
winner.
force field. Oh, not the best force field, but
Yeah.
do we care?
Second force field does trap 1 Marine down the ramp.
Got a funny looking flanks here. He should have another warp in a second here, when that should be Zealots, actually.
Yeah, and that's going to be just about that. Well, Tasis, the last day of Code S that we casted was the longest of the year.
I
This
think
could
this
end
will
up
be
being
the
the
shortest.
fastest.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Very quick so far here. Just totally bopping fantasy. A great defense there. He did a very turtly kind of defensive catch-all build, and that worked out well for him because, you know, obviously you're going to plan like, okay, if I'm not going to scout, am I going to play it really defensive early on? And he did. Fantasy may want to look at that and be like, okay, maybe, you know, I have a little bit of a reputation for being kind of an aggressive harassment-based Terran. Maybe I need to back it up and play greedy
I think
early.
you're right. I was looking at that and I thought, okay, this is a cool build, but of course Fantasy's going to do this.
Yeah.
Artosis, I got worried for you for a second. You were in the player slot when we joined the game. I thought, is Artosis just going to have to go one-on-one deer and win this now?
To be honest, with the games we've been seeing so far today, you wouldn't be able to tell if it was me.
That's true.
I would get wrecked exactly like the 3 games we've seen so far. So, it's no, you tag me in, coach. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can be your jobber tonight, Tasteless. The amazing Dan gets wrecked.
Yeah,
By
that would be
ear.
your wrestling name too, the Amazing Dan.
Fantastic Dan is better, I think, for me.
Yeah. All right,
It's like-
we're going to go into game number 2. The map will be Expedition Lost.
I prefer to be Dan Credible because it's like not even. It's
Dan
not even
Credible?
like doesn't even sound like incredible. Really, it's just like.
And my name would be The Masked Nick.
No, you'd be Nick or Tree.
Nick or Treat. That's so funny. Yeah. Oh, man. Those are good wrestling names, man. Because the thing is, since we're such jobbers, we couldn't use any epic name. It would just have to be our first name put up there.
시즌 3
Anyways, we're going into game number 2. Let's hope it's a little bit closer. In the upper right, in the red, our Protoss player winning game number 1.
삼성 갤럭시 디어
In the bottom left, in the blue,
데드 픽세스 판타지
speaking of trick or treat, Halloween's coming, Artosis.
That's right.
You gonna celebrate?
Yes, of course.
What are you gonna go as?
I don't want to ruin it because I always have a party that you're at. And
Oh,
I
that's
don't
right.
want you to know ahead of time, but I picked it out months ago.
I have a buddy of mine, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go as Ryu, and he's gonna go as Ken.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that a lot.
That'll be good.
Although I
Now
think
just
you
gotta
should go as
spend-
Blanca. Yeah.
Well, if I took my shoes off, you saw how long it's been since I've clipped my toenails. You know I could do Blanca right now.
Yeah.
What was it? Apollo started. You know, I don't know if a lot of you guys that are watching this, but Apollo used to be my roommate in Korea. And there was a period where you'd see my feet, and he's like, "You got Blanca feet, man. You got to clip your toenails, dude."
Well, I'm excited for Halloween. That'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be fun. I'm excited. Now I have to go online and probably spend like $400 on this like Ryu Ken outfit, but
No.
you think it's cheaper?
Yeah. What? Costs you $50. You get a decent one.
It was either going as Ryu or going as a sexy witch.
I think that you should just wear cat ears and,
Yeah.
like, you know, just something very skimpy with that.
Yeah, I think so. This is my opportunity to dress sexy is on Halloween.
You should be a cat nurse.
Yeah, I could be a sexy cat
Wow.
nurse. Yeah. Rare. Well, let's see what Fantasy's going to do this time around.
Yeah, Deer's opening a little bit differently. A double gas opening here. And with 2 probes in each. So he's still going to go for a fast expansion, but the follow-up is probably going to be a Stargate, which is pretty safe against everything.
Sure,
really.
yeah.
FanTaSy is not. Oh, wait a minute. He does have another probe out or a SCD out on the map, so he might be hiding.
I think he's going to make he's going to make a command center, right? He's banked up enough minerals.
Oh, that's a Marine out on there. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So he's going to make a command center.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think this is probably a better build. Let's see though what Deer does, because Deer could also just Hulk smash this with a really aggressive build as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. He could want to go into something like a Blink All-In or whatnot. But it looks like, you know, an expansion should be coming up here. And we'll see what tech he wants to choose right thereafter.
And it's going to be a Nexus.
Yeah, hiding as much information as possible, not showing that until that SCD's dead. Of course, FanTaSy going to go ahead, follow up with the factory. Very common, very normal play. Going to want to get some harassment going on his own. So nothing too peculiar here.
No, it's
pretty. That's that. Okay, this is actually interesting. He's going right into a robo. But if for like defensive robo play, you don't normally get 2 gases before. Like you can. It's not like a terrible thing to do. And in fact, it can throw off your opponent, because when they see those 2 gases, they, you know, start thinking, they're like, okay, is this going to be, you know, maybe an Oracle into a robo?
Yeah.
Because you're getting a little bit more gas and you're slowing your expansion down a bit. But as we see from Deer, no, this looks like it's just a defensive type of play here. And the fact that he's getting such a quick forge as well against the type of build that FanTaSy's doing, really, it's going to go well for him. Like this is a good opening by Deer.
The robotics facility is almost done, and we're just going to see the observer here. So this is about as safe and generic as you can play Protoss, which is fine.
Yeah, I like it. It's like a very nice choice against someone like FanTaSy. Like he's really gearing up. In fact, already seeing the fact that his opponent is making observers and getting an upgrade, like FanTaSy has to look at that and be like, oh, this is like kind of gross to try to deal with. Like if he doesn't get any probe kills, his upgrades are behind.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything, like this is just a nice defensive macro opening.
Oh man, got spotted. We have to assume that Deer saw that.
Yeah.
Well, also, even if he didn't see it, the lack of anything being there right now, and the fact there's a starport there should give it away. Now an observer's gone by. Now what's funny about this is FanTaSy is still completely committed to this attack. This can do damage sometimes, even if you know it's coming, because, you know, Deer is skimping a little bit. I mean, it's a safe build, but it's not.
Totally. It's definitely something that could do something here.
Oh my gosh.
But that's a lot of Hellions coming up. And, he actually loses that sentry right off the bat there.
Right,
didn't have a lot of energy anyway.
This is the play right here. You engage wherever the Nexus cannon is not.
Yeah, this is a real problem. He does have a cannon over here, but that's a lot of probes going down right now.
So you just try to hit the Nexus? I mean, what's the play from here?
Well, I think you just continue to deny mining time. Like, if you can pick off this mothership core, that's huge.
Oh, it's already at almost 90 mana.
Yeah, he really so badly wants to get another Nexus cannon off. But looks like he will end up probably losing here as he drops these Marines over. Look at this, more probes going down as well. This has been super effective by
This
FanTaSy.
paying for itself in dividends here. Looks like he might even be able to unpower this gateway over here to our left.
Yeah, look at that.
Lights
the
out.
Forge not even getting that upgrade, and he's going to lose a
Oh my
mothership
god,
core.
how much more can you kill with this? This is like breaking every record we've seen in GSL. And it's going to get a little bit worse.
Yeah, this is really rough. I mean, he has the cannon there, but he's so busy microing. Okay, he does see it and pull away, so that's really good. But there's like a lot of things going wrong this game for Deer, man. Just like last game, FanTaSy just got kind of wrecked. That did way too much damage. Just entirely too much.
Now we have the barracks explosion. And FanTaSy, by the way, actually going to go for a third base along with us. FanTaSy, I got to say, we're definitely seeing a play style here. The question is, well, I guess you can't say this is too greedy considering how much damage he did to Deer. I don't think Deer's going to be attacking out right away here.
Oh. Well,
okay.
Not what he's looking for, but that's all right. You know, every now and then you're going to get a lucky mine right there that's going to get 3-4 probes.
Sure. Might as well try to keep up the the harass.
Keep some pressure on.
Yeah.
One Widow Mine in the grand scheme of things is not really worth that much.
Make Protoss juggle a little bit more here.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I think he knows about this Observer. Is he going to do the scan? Oh,
He might. Oh, he was moving in position for it.
problem for the Observer is that it can die so easily. I mean, it's not a fast unit. It's never been a fast unit unless you upgrade it.
Yeah. Get that Observer speed upgrade.
So, yeah. Stem, 10
Long
seconds
games, I
away
do
from
love
finishing.
getting it,
Huh? Sorry, what?
I do love Observer speed in long games.
Yeah, it's so worth it.
Pretty awesome. But looks like right now we do have Deer just trying to get back into kind of a normal game here, continue to make Observers, getting that Colossus range.
Deer
finally
might-
going into Twilight as well.
Deer might actually want to just do a 2-base push to try to counter.
You think?
Well, yeah, because I don't think he can expand. I think I think if Deer takes a third base of his own, I think in a little bit Terran pulls all of his SCVs and just goes and kills him, right?
You might be right about that. These ramps are a little bit small and very choked up. So, like, I can see why he might want to try to go ahead and take that third base. Like, because he lost that many probes and units and whatnot in the early game, like, an attack, I feel like killing FanTaSy with an attack would be very, very difficult. But if he can hold on, like, up ramps while taking a third base, maybe he can draw this out and maybe he can get a good engagement where FanTaSy goes up the wrong ramp at the wrong time, you know? It can be very hard to kill a defensive Protoss on the right map.
Let's see where this game goes. He's also getting the Templar Archives here, still on 2 bases. So he's really going all the way. And you can see both players kind of respecting each other, don't want to fully engage. And seems like FanTaSy is at least taking some interest in possibly tearing down these rocks over here.
Yeah, definitely a possibility for him.
With Thermal Lance finished, it's pretty easy for the Colossi to poke away the Terran.
Yeah, by the way, I want to mention, I really like this from Deer. It's not the most common thing right now for Protosses to go 3 Colossus into Psystorm, but that's what Deer has chosen to do. And you can sometimes catch Terran with this, where they're not used to, like, Psystorm quite that quick. And if they attack you and you have Psystorm and they don't have Ghost for that, like, clumped up coming up a ramp, man, Psystorm is going to completely shred. Doesn't matter how many Vikings you have.
Yeah.
So, and we see 4 Vikings at a time right now. We see Psystorm on the way. It's going to be done before the attack hits, before we actually have a true engagement. So
I think Deer is playing this about as well as you can, considering the damage he took early on.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty serious beating, man.
He's even going to be up in upgrades, so that's really nice.
This is going to have to be canceled over here. Yeah, it is 115 supply to 173, folks.
Oh, wow. He's actually engaging that for a moment. He actually needs to buy just a little bit more time here. Psystorm is almost done.
I think that he's just going to go for it, try to get the kill this way.
You should not even be Psystorming these Vikings realistically here. You're not going to kill them off. So that was actually quite a mistake there. But he does have some Psystorms now. Looks like this is probably just not going to be enough to take out FanTaSy's army, though.
Yeah.
Definitely some kind of sloppy play. Like, he should not have gone down the ramp. That is a clear moment where you just force field the ramp and you stand as far back as possible because you don't want to entice the Vikings to take out your Colossi. And then the Psystorm of the Vikings, it's kind of like a little bit of an amateur move. Like, if your Colossi are going to die, you can't use Storms on Vikings. You have to use it on the army.
Yeah, because you're still going to lose all your Colossi.
Yeah. Like,
okay, nice force fields here. I gotta say, really nice. You can actually just step on those with the Archon.
Yeah, in fact, a nice little counter harassment there as well.
Yeah, not bad at all.
But I don't know if this is like a long-term thing that he can keep up. Another nice set of force fields here.
I mean, he is dealing the damage here, right? It's just that Protoss' army is so thinned out.
Yeah. His army is almost non-existent.
Colossus here with this.
Yeah, he's trying to target down those Vikings so he can do so, but...
Is this the GG moment here?
He's still trying because he is going to have 2-2 coming up here. So, like, if he can, like, make FanTaSy stop attacking for a moment, maybe he can get something together. But I really don't foresee it. With 3 bases on FanTaSy and this much more supply, I don't think the 2-2 is going to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, Protoss is sort of forced to make Zealot Archon here, and I don't know. I mean, I think that Deer can basically be kited for days, man.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, Deer is doing an impressive job of still staying in this game while keeping up this harass over here on the third base.
Well, he's coming out now, and a big flank does come in. Those Marauders going after the Colossi. They are going to be able to go ahead and take it down, and there's just nothing left here. The single force field. Well, this should be it. We should be seeing GG, and there it is. FanTaSy able to take down Deer here, really on the back of that really nice harassment with the Hellions come to the front ramp and then dropping in the main.
Well, this is going to bring us to game 3, so at least this series isn't going to be that one-sided. Remember, the winner up here goes on against BL. The loser has to take on Sleep. Sleep, probably the jobber of this group.
Poor Sleep.
Poor Sleep,
Definitely a very good player. He's been around for a really, really long time, but you know, it's great to have him back in Code S. He definitely didn't keep up in that first match. But in the second match, that was 2 very one-sided games as well. One where the harass did nothing, and the other where the harass did way too much.
We see Deer's coach coming into the booth. It is Stork. Stork, someone who was eliminated here in the round of 32, but a fantastic Brood War player, easily top 4 of all time.
Yeah, and definitely a very good StarCraft II player as well, but not good enough to go to the round of 16 this time.
Don't place too much trust in experts is what this shirt says. I love that.
I saw that in the makeup room today. It was, I like that shirt, especially coming from Stork, literally the playing coach of the team.
Yeah, that's cute.
I'm going to wear a t-shirt. You know, I wish we could like dress ourselves to this. I wear a t-shirt that says, "Don't trust tasteless."
Well, we're going to go on to the final map for these two. It's going to be on Terraform. Let's see what FanTaSy does, because he's had a very specific play style. Definitely eager to grab up that third base quickly. Really wants to go for drops, whether that's coming from a proxy location or from within his own base. And we're going to see if Deer has adapted to this kind of play, if he does continue with it. Oh, sick song.
Yeah, really good music this season.
Dubstep. GSL.
Wow. DJ Tasteless.
DJ Tasteless. With his, I can't think of a funny assistant name or something like that. With his dancer Artosis on the stage.
Waving the flag.
Yeah. You're my professional flag waver, man.
Nothing I want more.
All right, we have the game loaded up. Let's get ready. Deer against FanTaSy. This is the GSL. In the bottom right, in the red, he is
삼성 갤럭시 디어.
in the upper left, in the blue, he is
데드픽세스 판타지.
A bit of cheesy play happening here, Tasteless.
Look where he put that depot. But where's the barracks gonna go? Down and dirty.
Yeah, this is if you don't scout this pretty quickly, it can spiral out of control. He's going to basically bunker push the Nexus guys with this. Definitely a strategy that has frustrated every Protoss more than a few times on the ladder. And by the placement of that pylon, that's really good for FanTaSy. Little things like that actually make a big difference. He's going to be able to hit that pylon more quickly because it's on this side as opposed to the other side. And again, seriously, that makes a big difference with strats like this.
FanTaSy should buy Deer a bottle of wine, because I hear that tastes pretty good with cheese.
Whoa.
I'm done, guys. I'm going home.
If this doesn't work out for FanTaSy, maybe he should... Oh my god. And that is brutal. Well, I mean, it just can't work now.
Oh, and it finishes?
Yeah, if he just stays on top of this.
Oh, that's cute.
That's a little wall that the Marine can stand in. But, yeah, you see, he's sending a bunch of SCVs. Like, this is super duper all in, but this is so bad for him, I can't even explain.
We're deep in Protoss territory. Cover me. Now he has to figure out if he wants that to finish or not.
Oh yeah, I think he does. Like
I think he does.
it kind of counts as like a barracks almost, because you can. I mean, a bunker, because you can like run in and out. But with this Zealot coming out, like, oh man.
Yeah. Here come the SCVs. Okay.
All right.
Bunker.
Well, this
Third Marine is about to come out here.
This is more than a little bit tough with a second Zealot popping out. 2 Zealots against 3 Marines.
Yeah, that's
like,
not
he doesn't
much of
even
a
need the
fair fight.
probes, but he's pulling them because you should.
Okay, he might even want to make another little depot wall here. Oh, this is so dirty.
Yeah, some really nice walling in here. Some nice positional play by FanTaSy, trying to find some way to poke in here and make this
Zealot
work out.
shield's depleted, by the way.
Yeah, he's actually not taking this seriously enough. Now there's actually a bunker up. This is going to become much harder. But as long as he doesn't let a bunker hit his like nexus or that pylon, he should be probably okay. Just targeting down SCVs. Look at that. He actually, oh man, he only has 1 SCV left. All you have to do is like right-click that thing. There's not even another one on the way.
That bunker's going to finish. I can't believe this. I mean, he might still hold this anyways, but... Oh! That SCV is so important right now. Now, he's pulled more.
Yeah, he needs to keep that bunker alive. He needs to keep it going.
Okay, so if he gets his next bunker... I believe that bunker hits the Nexus, right? The one that he's making?
I
Doesn't
think it's just barely out of range, but it hits some of the minerals, I believe. So,
well,
oh my God, he lost it.
Oh my God! This is madness. But there's no SCV right now. The other SCVs haven't gotten
there's only 2 Marines in there, so.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he wants that so bad.
Run!
The 2 Marine flank. No, this is.
He needs to finish the bunker. Bunker about halfway done here. Problem is that you can really micro your heart out with Stalkers against Marines, or not.
Dude, this has been like one of the sloppiest days of Code S I've ever seen, to be perfectly honest. Well,
better start making stuff back in my own base.
He's like, I guess I'll need a second barracks if I'm going to win this game. Well, FanTaSy, I mean...
I don't know, man.
I don't know if you realize this, but your win percentage from this spot against someone who's won a Code S is probably going to be 0.
Like, yeah.
I'm going to go with 0%. I'm going to go with never, ever, 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 ever. I'm going to go with right-clicking his probes into his opponent's mineral patch wins the game for deer.
Well, does he land the barracks again? Yeah, I guess he might as well.
Ha! I have tricked you, sir. I have not floated this to my house.
He's like, who's the snake eyes now? I don't think that's how the phrase is supposed to go, but...
Who's the snake eyes
Who's the snake eyes now? Well, I guess you can try to block the mining with that barracks now. You can try to do something.
Yeah, 11 SCVs, guys, right now against 21 probes. No tech against tech. New base against no new base. It's a good thing he built that barracks at home to get these 2 Marines.
Well, as you can see, even with a bunker there, 1 Marine does not make it that scary.
Yeah, it's like here's a couple Marines here just takes so long to actually kill Stalkers.
Oh my God, they're all still alive.
Oh man.
This is where FanTaSy has that revelation that workers are pretty good. Not only do they mine minerals, but they make buildings as well.
I'm trying to think of some.
I'll let you guys sit and reflect on that, all right? 1 page in your journal right now.
500 words, guys.
500 words. Well, gateways are pretty good. Here's some more knowledge bombs. They make attacking units.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You think attacking units might help him to win this game against 4 Marines?
Call it a hunch, but I'm going to go with yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, today has been a very weird day of Code S so
It
far.
has been an extraordinarily weird day.
Huh.
Well, I guess from here, Deer makes pylons outside of FanTaSy's base. I mean, FanTaSy is so low on workers. It's 14 SCVs. 14, guys. Did he get an orbital? I don't even know how this build works with Terran. Yeah, he's got an orbital. Okay.
Well, he's got 15 SCVs now, so I mean that's almost half as many as there are probes. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's an improvement. Oh, don't do this.
It's like, now for the counterattack. Like, well,
So
that's...
two can play at this game.
I'm
And
like,
he loses all his
one
Marines.
Stalker beats all those Marines before they get across the map, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, so... what were we doing there?
You use "we." It's like the most condescending way to say it. Like, maybe we shouldn't attack there.
He's like, well, what if he's making a pylon and doesn't have any units around? I'm like, but he would have units around, right?
This
We
guy-
know he has at least 3 Stalkers, and they're not attacking the barracks over his base, right? So where are they? Is the question. The $1 million question.
Well, haven't seen a floating barracks on fire that long since I casted the Marine King. So,
Well, you know, fantasy.
blast from the past here.
Marine King GG timing and fantasy GG timing are actually like the same joke, kind of. Like,
Yeah.
fantasy does not like to give up. He's definitely one of the players that has squeezed out the most ridiculous wins that you'll ever see. This game, it was just not going to happen after that barracks was scouted. Like, Deer actually didn't even really deal with it well when he scouted it. I think he probably doesn't get to play against that too much.
Probably not.
Isn't fresh against that right now. There was a time where that was actually somewhat popular, even in the pro level of the ladder and whatnot. But I think that time passed a long time ago. And so yeah, it's kind of like this weird game where it's like, well, fantasy. I mean, it's totally within his rights to not give up and leave the game, but
No, of course.
there's like just not like the amount of times Deer has to bungle to lose this. He has to almost make a bungalow to lose this game.
Whoa. Look at you. Artosis the wordsmith.
The word Smith. Hammering together words like fantasy's hammering together a victory right now.
Okay, now is he going to just blink up? Yep, it
Yeah,
is. Blinks pretty good.
The Siege Tank is the only thing actually dealing damage here, so it's...
So now he just targets down individual Marines. Well, that, you got to pick one or the other, man.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, I'll hit the
wishy-washy
barracks, then I'll hit
here.
these Marines. And now there's a second siege tank, so this game actually might go on. If he actually pushes this back. Okay, that was not a well-executed attack.
Yeah, no, he was very wishy-washy on what he wanted to do. Like, it took him a while on every single decision to blink up, to target Marines or bunker, to withdraw. Like, I feel like, I don't know. The thing is, sometimes pro gamers can throw each other off with like funny builds and weird games.
We're going in. Where's the observer?
I got shot down.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that will be the end of the game here.
You know, I wonder because like pro gamers can definitely throw each other off with like wonky plays and like kind of like make the game on a different weird level that you don't see that often.
Sure,
I wonder
yeah.
if something like that happened here because both these players are actually fantastic, but this series
It was a bumpy ride.
it was a really weird one. Like weird decisions, weird micro. Felt like everyone was a bit off in it.
I think you're right. I think I agree. That's going to do it for the second best of 3. Now we're going to have the winner's match, and what a treat that will be. Biel going up against Deer.
Nice little PvZ action going on there.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fantasy not happy that his cheese didn't work.
Well, here's the thing. He's actually going to go ahead and play against Sleep next, and I think that he's going to do completely fine against Sleep.
Yeah.
Fantasy, definitely a more accomplished, better player overall.
I think most people would say Deer will probably lose to Biel, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm favoring Biel in that, even though Protoss is pretty strong overall right now. Definitely would agree with Biel getting out in first place. So Fantasy might get a rematch there. It was a 2-1. Hard to say exactly how that'll go.
We are going to go to a short break. When we come back, we'll go to the winner's match here for today's GSL Code S.